Can multiculturalism exist without cultural appropriation? I think this is a great framing, and no, unless you're seeking parallel societies, which is not really multiculturalism. It's a kind of extreme form of live and let live, which probably doesn't work anyway. But of course, there's borrowing, and this. Have any cultural values been appropriated inappropriately? Yes, of course. And so, is the concept of cultural appropriation a legitimate one? Yes, at base. But I feel about it, I guess, at this point, a bit like I feel about the trans debate, where there's a real thing. There's a real thing known as trans, and there are real people who really suffer. And there are real cultures who have had their values or norms basically, minimized or stripped from them as a result of some other culture coming in and stealing or betraying or whatever it is. But just as most of the people who are currently in the debate over in trans rights activist space right now, I don't think are good faith, and are for the most part not doing anything good for the very tiny number of people who are actually truly trans. I don't think that the vast number of accusations of cultural appropriation at this point have anything to do with actual harm to culture. It's power. It's about power again, and a misunderstanding of what history is and what people do. This is exactly how cultures evolve. They evolve sometimes by creating new things and often by borrowing and adding.
And you can see, in fact, that a lot of things, I think a lot of people who deploy, the idea cultural appropriation is bad. You're taking stuff, you're not paying for it, right? Okay, I can sort of see the perspective. On the other hand, this is what culture is. This is why we're not hardwired. Yeah. And so, at some level, you should expect this. But, the point is, if you start to put these things together, you realize what this is a set of rules that cannot be abided by, yeah. Right? Yeah. So I saw today Coca-Cola, internal anti-racism briefing escaped,
it's about whiteness, right?
Be less white or something like that. Well, okay, be less white and don't culturally appropriate. It is hard to
disappear yourselves. Right. Don't exist.
Well, the basic point is, look, you're going to be in violation of one of these things or the other. Right. So basically watch your step, because we can convict you on a moment's notice.
We're watching and we're in charge now.
Right.
Get used to it.
And likewise, I would say, I'm going to hate myself for speaking like a child now, but for the moment, right, the discussion around the N-word has gotten completely preposterous. And I'm now, one of the wonderful things about Clubhouse is you can actually listen in on discussions and you can learn how people think about this. But at some level, the word is now super ubiquitous in features, in quadrants of Black culture, right? I find no problem with that. But to do that, to infuse a hip hop culture or whatever with this word, so it's everywhere, and then to hold a super high bar where somebody who's simply singing along with a song trips over it and is then convicted as if they used it as an epithet against someone is preposterous. It's it's again a trap. And so anyway, what we need is an adult discussion in which the proper level of nuance is there so that we can distinguish, for example, between wielding an epithet and mentioning the epithet, or using the epithet as you are inhabiting a character, a racist character. Is it wrong to inhabit a racist character and use the syllables? Right. No, of course not. Right? We need racist characters in order to understand the problem with racism. Right? So in any case, you can't deploy all of these things in isolation and then combine them into some web that can't be navigated.
Yeah.